What's going on, everyone? It's Nicolas Rocha, and today I'm going to be doing a breakdown of my Passionfruit edit that was made famous by its support from Prospa in their back-to-back with Josh Baker at UME in Barcelona. So, without further ado, I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible, but knowing me, I like to include a lot of information and deep explanation behind my creative process. So, first off, there was actually two versions of this track that I was deciding on releasing. The first version being a more Latin and percussive feel, and then the second version just changing the drums up a bit, a little bit of an arrangement change, but I'll play for you the first version so you guys can hear what it sounds like, and then I'll start breaking down the project and going into each of the sounds and samples.
Fuck that. Fuck that.
So obviously, right off the bat, you could hear the drums are way different than the final version. Let me solo the drums real quick. So this drum group was obviously inspired by, I guess, like Ollie BC. Um, there's so many inspirations. Vito UK, pretty much the whole risque artist community. I listened to a lot of their stuff, so that was kind of my interpretation of that sound. And then the bass line, I would show the bass line first, but actually I wrote the lead melody before the bass line. I just copied the same melody over to the bass line. But yeah, so this synth lead melody was actually, I think, the selling point of the track, and I think the viability of the idea itself. Because I knew I wanted to mess around with the passion fruit vocal from Drake, but I once I laid the lead on top of it, I was like, okay, it worked. It's pretty cohesive and it gives it like a whole different energy, I guess. So I'll solo this synth lead so you guys can hear what it sounds like on its own. And it's the same pattern. I mean, it's so simple, it's funny. But the actual sound is a Nexus preset, Nexus 3 if you will. And it's called Small Church. It's obviously an organ with some reverb and delay. I sidechained it a bit, added some distortion with Camel Crusher, and then on the drop here, I just drop it down an octave so it can sound a little deeper. And yeah, that's the very simple melody. But I think honestly, that's what makes the track um, good. Is because I mean the drums are special in either version, um, and the vocal is obviously doing most of the work. But I think the synth lead, this melody is doing so much again work for the track between the vocal samples from Passion Fruit. So it just all works together pretty nicely, I think. And so when I go down, I'm going to be showing most of the samples from this project because I literally just soloed the non-drum elements in this project, exported it, and then slapped it on a new project that I'm going to be opening up shortly. So with this with this version, I did pretty much all of the work, and I'll solo the melody and the vocal so you could see how I arranged each to complement each other, but also like give each other enough space.
Hold on. I got to start this motherfucking record over again. Wait a minute. Fuck
I have a couple of box hits there. But yeah, it's just a really long delay and reverb. So this track right here, number 27, I just added this I don't know how you call it, like this double shelved filter, obviously for copyright purposes, but also because I think it sounds pretty cool. And then I open up everything on this other track here where it's a non-filtered version of the vocal sample. But I mean, obviously it's still high passed, but just to get rid of the low end
Hey, y'all get some more drinks
on
going on. I
the
sound a
original
whole lot
sample.
better.
So it's pretty vibey. I think it's pretty vibey. The whole point of this synth melody too was to create like a levitating feel to it, like very light and I guess you could say euphoric. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but actually, a cool thing to mention for the the bridges and the transitions in between each section, this vocal pad that I made from repeating a phrase from the vocal, I paired it with the synth melody, and I think it just sounds really cool. If I just can get these two to play, this one right here. So it's just a repetitive, I think I freezed and flattened a long decayed reverb pan with the wetness like at 100%, just so it can have like a very aired out feeling. So I won't go too deep into the effects because I think they're pretty basic, but it's a couple of drum fills, crashes, snares, white noise, and yeah, that's really about it. Um, let's see. I don't think there's too much that I want to go into this original project because I think again the main point of this um this breakdown of this project was to show you kind of like I guess the bare bones of what actually made the song. So it's really just the melody and the vocal doing all the work. I mean, the drums are the drums. The arrangement is super basic, two-part, you know, two-part drop, and with the vocals sparsed along each dance section. So yeah, simple snare rolls. The effects are really nothing too special. So we'll jump into the next project right now. All right. So getting into the second version, the final version, this project, it's going to look very simple, mainly because if you can see here, this passion fruit final stem, this is just the previous project that I was showing you guys. It's just the same. It's just exported without the bass and the drums. So it's the exact same thing. So it obviously has the all the effects and stuff there. I mean, the mix down for the previous project, it was good, so I thought exporting it to a single stem was gonna be like was gonna be okay. And then I think obviously the drums are gonna be the biggest difference between the first and second version, or first and final version, right? So before before we get into anything else, I'll just show you what the drums sound like without the kick and the bass here in this main section. So again, like I was saying before, the drums are super simple. Nothing's really too advanced. I had made this break sample here just from like a bunch of different breakbeat samples spliced together. And then the tops are the tops, hi-hats, claps, So with the kick change to a more punchy, transient focused kick, I think it just gives it like that again, that energy that I was looking for. Moving on from the first version to the second version there, where I wanted more energy. I wanted, I guess, I don't want to say more aggression, but like more drive to it, especially with changing the baseline here, which is a Serum 2 preset from I think it's the Tech House Market Amsterdam Volume 1. I think it's the Desire preset, just bounced out, freeze and flattened because if I'm being quite honest, I really don't like working with MIDI because I just feel like I just don't, bro. I just don't fuck with it as much as I do fucking with audio samples because I think coming from someone who loves to get deep down and dirty into sample processing and advanced sample processing, I really don't mind manipulating an audio file versus, MIDI clip with everything in between it. So I like the Serum preset, how I tweaked it, and then I bounced it out because I'm not going to change it. And then I stacked on a bunch of audio effects with some sort of rhyme or reason, but at the end of the day, it's just whatever sounds good sounds good. So yeah, I'll play this real quick for you guys.
Y'all get some more drinks going on. I sound a whole lot better.
And there it is. Again, the exact same thing, but just with a different kick and a different bassline sound. Coming from here, because the punch just hits
Y'all get
harder
some more drinks
through
going on. I sound a whole
the
lot
lead
better.
melody. So, oh shit. Oh my god. I apologize. Excuse me. So, again, nothing has changed from apart from the drums and the bassline sound. I mean, the bassline is the same notes all the way around, and yeah, I just threw on my own master using Ozone 10. It's really simple too. Again, no rhyme or reason. I'm not a mastering engineer, mixing engineer. I just know how to get it sounding loud and clear to a certain extent. Obviously, not as well as a professional, but I mean, hey, beats paying for a mix and master. So, I mean, really, that's it. I would have liked to, I guess, rehearse this and go through the projects in a more organized fashion, but when it comes down to it, that's not my creative process. It's not super organized. It's kind of just what I hear in the moment sounding good. I run with it, and I just try to add whatever I can to meet the vision behind the track. Now, when it comes to having a vision behind a track, I think for me, what it comes down to is having, I guess, a time and place. Because I actually think of music whenever I hear a track or um, I start something from scratch. I always kind of have a mindset of where I want to be and what I want to play. So, for instance, like the first version of Passionfruit, having the inspiration from the risque community and kind of the parties that they play, I didn't want something obviously so punchy, so specific to, I guess, the UK style. But I guess as I started opening up myself to more music in that short frame between the first and second version, I was getting way deeper into the UK sound, um, more deep tech stuff, and that kind of brought about the second version. So again, the first version would be like kind of, I guess, the more Latin percussive daytime party, if you will, and then I wanted it to be more club specific, nighttime. I wouldn't say peak time because it's the track it just isn't that. But I guess I just wanted something more energetic, something that hits a little heavier. So, and I also want to hit on a topic that a lot of, I guess, beginning producers like myself don't really get too much guidance towards if you're just doing everything on your own. And that's mastering, right? Like sending out tracks that are mastered. So I had sent this as a promo to Prospa via TrackStack, right? I have a paid subscription and everything in inbox. You guys feel free to send me stuff there, but I I think it's very important for artists who are trying to send out promo and get their song played by more, I guess, notable DJs to have your tracks already mixed and mastered because you don't want to retract anything to push out a more refined version. Being in a professional space, you want to push out and field a version of your work that is already refined and is somewhat polished, right? So that was that was kind of the thing I had sent out. I'd done a quick little mix and master, or I wouldn't even say mix down. I just mastered everything. I thought it sounded good. I didn't want to change anything too much in the master chain. So I just got it loud. I boosted some of the high end and I thought it was ready to send out. And lo and behold, it was played at a festival and I think the master that I did worked. So if it didn't have a master, I mean, what would the pipeline look a little different when it came to getting my track actually played? Maybe, but I don't want to leave that up to chance, and I don't think you should either if you're a beginner. Obviously, the people that are up the food chain, they have their way of doing things. This is just how I understand it from my perspective. But yeah, that's going to be it for this one. Again, have any questions or need some one-on-one sessions, just DM me on Instagram, email me, and yeah, I'll hopefully make more of these track breakdowns as the support comes along. And hope you guys have a good week.